Greetings, good afternoon, and good day once again to our global viewing audience. This is Chanticleer Public Media and the Laos Media Group bringing you another installation of Ambidextrious. This episode and this afternoon, we're fortunate to have with us a young emerging author and writer here from the 252 Wilson and Nash counties. Young gentleman who I'm going to contend and suggest will be a well known commodity in the very near and upcoming future. His name is Mr. Ron Bullock, and today we're going to discuss his work 13 years of college. You will find it as a scintillating, riveting expose of his life. You'll find this very informative, and for some out there who might view this as a cathartic discussion and talk that hopefully you'll find encouraging, not only informative, but beneficial to you and yours. So without further ado, we welcome today Brother Ron Bullock. Welcome to Ambidextrious.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to share my story and see how far I can go and who I could reach, who I could help and inspire in this, who share this same story or similar story as I have.
Okay. And if you would, to start things off here, give us a little bit, brief bio, a little brief beat about your background, upbringing, who you are, where you're from, how'd you end up here today?
Okay. Ronald Udi Bullock, originally from Wilson, North Carolina, born and raised. Mother, father, two-parent household. Two sisters as well. I'm the baby of the family. So, I was a little spoiled coming up. Baby boy. A little spoiled, just a little bit. I played a little sports coming up, football, basketball, baseball.
Okay.
Football was my favorite. Played a little cornerback.
Okay. And if I understand it correctly, you might have attended one of the schools that I had some affiliation with years ago, having an opportunity to serve in capacity of a director of athletics at E.T. Bedingfield High School.
Oh, yes.
Sheriff, but tell us a little bit about that.
I went to Bedingfield I only made it to the 10th grade.
Okay.
Okay, so if we can, you asked me how did we get here?
Yeah, how'd you get
So,
here? Yeah.
You and I connected through a book expo, and the story of my book it's titled 13 Years of College, and it's based on from the morning I wake up in the system in the county jail to the day I walk out of prison 13 years later.
Outstanding.
So I named it, I put college instead of prison because I didn't want to do I didn't want it to be just a regular prison sentence. I wanted to make it worthwhile because I knew I didn't have life, and I wanted to come home a responsible citizen, a responsible man, somebody that say I that was my past. I made some mistakes, so let's correct it so you could be better.
And so your book spans and covers a period from the time you were found yourself one morning in jail through the next 13 years upon when you, I guess, achieved your release.
Yes.
And you mentioned the term that it motivates you, if I'm hearing you correctly. You use the word responsibility. Talk a little bit about that, how your life sojourn and journey thus far what part that particular term has played in your life, the responsible part, and what factors caused you to want to take a look at that part as it relates to you personally?
Um, for one, I saw so many guys go through the revolving door of of the system, and I knew at some point if I didn't change and I was released, I would be one of those statistics. So I said, you know, I'm big on family, and the pressure or I felt when I knew I let my parents down.
Hmm.
So I took on that responsibility. I can't do this no more.
Hmm.
If you ever seen hurt in physical form on someone's face and you know you're responsible for that, like I can't do that no more. So it's got to be a better way for me to navigate life and make this bad situation better. So I took it upon myself to go to school. I took everything I could take, every class, every certification, uh, what degree, everything I could, just so I could solidify myself and being a better person on the outside. So that's one of the responsibilities to my parents
Hmm.
because I never wanted to see that hurt etched in their face again.
And it sounds like to me, the responsibility came from your need and desire to make amends, to seek in some way, in some measure, forgiveness for the deeds or misdeeds, how you want to
Right.
categorize it that you've done.
You summed it up perfect. I never looked at it like that, but it, how you just explained it resonated with me because if I if I was responsible for that, and this is all I had to give you for you treating me and raising me in a right way, and you instilling so much positive and morally things in my life, and I give you this, I'm gonna go to prison because.
Mm.
So I had to correct that.
Mm.
I had to correct that.
And let me go who may wrong as those who view me might say. Let me go right here. I'm gonna press toward the lunatic fringe. Who do you think you're coming to grips with you and where you were in your life? Who's been the most satisfied? And it sounds like you have a very good, strong, supportive, foundational family unit,
I do.
parents and the like. Who do you think has been most happy and surprised and grateful with how you reframed and renavigated your life? You or your, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick on them, your parents. Who's been most happy about this?
I know without a shadow of a doubt, my mom has, like, she's been in glee since the evolution. When she starts seeing the evolution,
Mm.
uh, not only just when she comes see me in visitation, but through my writings. Uh, but my mother, I lost my father in 2009.
Mm.
But he was starting to see the man that I was becoming.
So losing what part of that in your transition was that? Was that were you still had you been released yet or
No,
had you?
I was still incarcerated at the time, and
Mm. But you
I
said you alluded he started to see a shift
yes,
or a change
he
in
started
you.
to see the change because he was like, I could tell by the way you're not in so much trouble no more, and the way that you write, and he could just tell through what you want to call my preparation
Hmm.
to come home.
So it sounds like he saw you applying yourself. Sounds like he saw you maybe setting some goals that might not have been there
Right.
prior to that.
Yes, sir.
Sort of a goal or something to accomplish. Well, that is quite noteworthy of you, and bless you, and I'm certain your father's memory and spirit for that happening in your life. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You mentioned there, and I definitely want to take a little deeper look and dive into the writing and what inspired or where did that come from. And I say that based on yesterday's encounter I had with you that I said was so scintillating and riveting that you talked about. And if you would, maybe share a little bit about that writing and that part that you mentioned about the literacy and the language and the words and that particular part that might have been cut short in your primary educational system there at the high school you attended.
Okay, so the writing part really stemmed from it go back to those days you go outside and play. I probably was
Please take your time. Yeah,
I was
please.
probably on punishment at the time. And I'm in the house, and I tell my mom, I'm bored. I ain't got nothing to do. And you know the old saying, you bored, go read a book. So she gave me a poetry book. She
Do
didn't.
you recall what book it was?
I don't.
Okay, that's okay. All right.
But I just know it was the poems that captivated me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of it went over my head. But I would rearrange some of the words. I would take some of the words out.
Tell us about that. Talk about that a little more.
So
Where'd that come? How
I don't know. I was just playing with words. Just, even though I had little understanding of them, because I'm thinking I'm probably around 8, 9 at the time, and I'm just tinkering. And I said, "My mama, look what I did," and she probably think he done plagiarized somebody's stuff.
Okay,
But she give me a hug and say, "Baby, that's good."
Oh,
So I credit her to the passion for writing, because she wanted to write. She still journals to this day. She writes short stories and everything. But so when I'm incarcerated, I start reading. My dad's cousin suggested me to read Richard Wright's Black Boy, Malcolm X, Man, Child in the Promised Land by Claude Brown.
Oh my goodness! Come on, brother.
So I'm reading these books, and quite a few of these words are going over my head. You know, Richard Wright was an intellectual. So, yeah.
And I'm going to interject in this. I want you to keep that thought. Don't let. I actually, when I, having met you and then had some thoughts about, as I said, your presentation and how impressive it was for me. I had said in my mind's heart, here comes another Richard Wright. But go ahead on, continue.
So,
Man, Child in the Promised Land.
Man, Child in the Promised Land, the Claude Brown. And I think he suggested Claude Brown because Claude Brown was going through the training schools or the youth correctional facilities at the time, yet and still he came out. He switched his life and he became an educator or something of that sort. But Richard Wright, he was an intellectual, and he used a very broad. He had a very broad writing vocabulary. So I'm trying to comprehend everything that's going on in the book. But, my comprehension level wasn't that great at the moment. So I'm reading and words going over my head. And then reading and not understanding isn't fun. So
Repeat, say that again, please.
reading and not comprehending isn't fun. So I don't understand what's going on. I just see the words, but I don't understand. So I go buy me a dictionary. And every word that I don't understand, I write it down and I write the definition down. So I'll go back and reread the paragraph or the page and get full understanding of what's going on. So now a whole world has begun to unfold to me, like the light bulb has really went off. So that kind of started my journey for writing as well. So I began to journal, maybe 6 years within my sentence.
And explain for those younger types out there, because you are directing your focus and your appeal to a definite segmented market out there that I'm going to suggest needs to hear and understand this. Tell us a little bit about journaling. And you say you started to journal. What is
Okay,
journaling?
so journaling is I take my day and I might write it down, what happened, why it was so exciting, or why it was so frustrating, or
Whatever it is,
and
good, bad, right, wrong.
and I add my feelings to it, you know, and
your feelings. That's
yeah.
very.
And it might just, if in a journal, I might don't even write a whole page. I might write a quote that I read from James Baldwin, or I might just, something was on my mind. I just might write 2 or 3 words just to get something on that paper.
Brother, audience who's viewing this, I hope you are, if you're out there looking at this, I would suggest and offer right now, in the moment, in the context of the moment, get your young person who's near and dear to you and bring them to take a look at this and refer back to it, because what you just described there is, however you did it manifest itself for you, that is a very unique but simple, digestible pedagogy for learning, for growing, for evolving in that process of your writing. But anyway, no, I had to get that in. That's profound. And I appreciate you and thank you and bless you for that. Go ahead and continue.
So that was my thing, just to, once I start learning words, I'm walking around the yard, I'm using these words, I'm flashing my word, I'm flashing my vocabulary now, because it's like
a new
currency.
weapon, a new tool.
It's right. It's a new tool, and so now I'm just saying different words that I've learned, and
Were you doing this to yourself or with others, or just
with others? So
some of your friends, playmates, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead. Okay,
it was fun. But one of the things that kind of inspired it also is, Malcolm X was self-taught, and I was like, yeah, if he could do it, because he was an advocate of learning the dictionary from the first letter to the last letter, and he dedicated himself to that. I can't say I did that.
You still got time.
Right. However, I did dedicate a lot of my time to the dictionary and the thesaurus, because once I found that I could write, I could put words together. I might I start writing for dudes that couldn't write.
A virtual wordsmith.
Yes. So
you started writing for others?
Yeah, so they might, you pretty good with your words. Can you respond to this letter for me?
So that sounds like that drew in some people to you, having heard how you were able to express yourself. Oh,
Right.
that's outstanding. Okay.
Yeah, so, and I will journal about that also. Anything under the sun. When my mom was going through breast cancer, certain things you can't be vulnerable about in the system, because the slightest vulnerability it's like blood in the water and the sharks gone.
Now,
You
you're
know,
saying once again, the system you're talking about inside of the.
yes, in the penal system.
Hmm.
So,
So you couldn't even sort of having known about your mother's struggle, you couldn't allow that to insert itself into your daily activities inside. Talk about that.
so I would journal about that. So it
Hmm.
was just things like that, and at the same time, my father was going through his dialysis. At the same time, my mother was going through her breast cancer. So if I was to allow that to consume me while I was in, while I was on the inside, it could change forward progression. So, excuse me, certain things you have to compartmentalize
Hmm.
while you're in. You know, that was my take. That was how I handled my situation because it was either you build up this wall and don't deal with this,
Hmm.
or you deal with this and let it tear you down, and you dealing with the world, what's going on the outside world, and what's dealing on going on the inside of these walls,
Hmm.
and you're dealing with two things at one time, and
Hmm.
you know you can only be at one place at one
I
time. So
think Dr. Du Bois back in the day talked about that double quandary of thinking. You
right,
had to be two individuals in sort of two different mindsets and mind frames
hmm
while in one particular location and place.
right,
Excellent. Okay.
exactly. So as hard as it was, I couldn't really give too much emotion to that. So I just write about it. You know, I put it on pen and paper, and that was where I laid my hurt and my feelings in that paper, in that journal.
Okay. And so the emotion part in that particular setting, as you alluded to earlier, you had to safeguard that because that would be, like you said, like blood in the water. Someone saw or recognized that. And so you used writing and journaling as an instrument to sort of, I guess, channel or redirect
hmm
all of that. And the key part is about emotion because having never been there, but having heard stories not unlike that of your own, emotion plays a big part of what goes on uh,
hmm
in those places of incarceration. Maybe if you could talk about that, looking back on it, maybe in hindsight, in retrospect, what, and I'll try to broaden it out. What part does emotion inside of those facilities play in what the outcome might be while
hmm
you're there, and even maybe perhaps after getting out of that?
Okay, so one example, it's always somebody having a bad day.
I'm not
Always.
laughing, but okay. That's
And you
that's
could,
very well, but I'm laughing because that's very obvious. But
right.
that's something that
And-
I haven't heard it expressed like that. You take for granted, obviously,
yeah, it's always somebody.
but that's something to consider. That I would suggest that the man on the street, everyday average citizen who's
Mhm.
viewing this, yeah, it's a bad day, but you really don't think about it in that context.
Mhm.
Somebody's always having a bad day. Okay.
Right. So even the guards that come to work.
Hmm.
So if I was to wear my emotions on my sleeve, and the guard just say something, and he's having a bad day, it's a
Hmm.
lose-lose situation for me because I'm going to the hole, and they could possibly beat me up.
Talk a little bit about that. The whole, not just the whole part. What that is for those who are viewing this that might not have had that experience of being aware of. That is a nomenclature. There's a big word for you. Inside of the prison. What is the hole? Is
The
that
whole
HOLD hole?
no,
WHOLE hole?
it's
What?
the whole
Uh oh.
HOLE
Mm.
um, solitary confinement. And being in solitary confinement, you're stripped of your no radio, no TV, no outside food, or your commissary. You just there 3 hots and
Is it even a cot?
book. It's a cot.
Okay.
It's a cot, and you can read and write. That's all you get. Outside of that, you're there for at least a minimum of 10 days. And
Talk about this.
when you go to the hole, a lot of times you'll lose your job, whatever. And I was a barber on the compound at some point. Or if you're in school, you could be kicked out of school or what have you. So you got to think, is the decision that you make, is it worth it? So, and I was trying to, my end goal was to be a blessing or be a better person for my parents. So why would I want to, allow their situation to affect my emotion where I make rash and bad decisions once again?
Outstanding. Well, I thank you for sharing sort of those personal, intimate details, and I should have given you forewarning in advance, but if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it, and I'm certain our viewers out there should be okay with that as well. And in the time remaining, and I think you covered that part about the learning process of falling in love with words. And I guess one of the interesting things that I'm hearing from your commentary here is that while some generations may or may not be those who might be viewing this or have children or even adults to that extent about words and the part that plays in our lives, but words are all around us because we think in words.
Right.
And words do have power. And it sounded like your mother was initially giving you sort of a stringent assignment to read. You were at a level where you didn't comprehend and all of that, but it sounded like you made a game, for like a game. She actually gave you a game that you could utilize to strengthen you to evolve and become where you are here today. And so, and I would think, having had some prior experience myself in education, being articulate, being a wordsmith, in some demographics is viewed as a weakness or something less than noble, and for lack of a better term, you're trying to quote that word that I'm not going to, speak right now, but we all know what that is. Maybe if you understand what I'm saying, maybe speak about that part. What message could you give out there to someone about what you've done and how that might have erased the stigma that's associated with reading, writing, journaling, and words?
Okay, so...
you rubbing your hands together. Sound like you might want to like.
I want to go touch this real quick because.
Take your time, whatever.
Because when I was in elementary school, this was one of my hugest battles, and it was to be cool or to be smart. And
say that again. Look at the say it. To be what now?
My biggest battle was to be cool or to be smart.
There's your thing for your next word, but go ahead on.
So if you know Jawanza Kunjufi, he wrote that book as well.
To be cool or to be smart.
So and that in our culture, society, that's often it's like a
devalued.
It's right, and it's an option. Like you have to pick one or the other. And
come on, doctor.
And no one
brother.
was there to tell me, but you could do both.
So, repeat. What?
You could do both. And it's sad.
You done woke somebody up today, brother.
And
go ahead on.
And it's sad that you feel, we're in a position where we feel like we have to pick, all right, do I want to be cool or do I want to be smart? So I chose to be, at the end of the game, I chose to be both.
Or you could have been an athlete, but that's a story for another day. Go ahead on.
Yeah. But Yeah, for a while, that was one of my goals though to debunk that myth. Just because you articulate your words, you're that act
Brother,
and
you
sound
throwing
like
out
that.
some vernacular here today. Now I'm gonna go back and cause this is learning, training, educational, informing. You covering the whole circle. Debunk. Come on, you
Yeah,
got some
so
homeboy down there in the schoolyard. What you what the world you talking about? Debunk.
yeah, yes.
What? What's
I,
that?
yeah, I wanted to make that non-existent. You don't
Eradicate, erase.
eradicate.
Go ahead
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So
Uh,
I did want to let it be known that you don't have to do that, and to code switch.
ooh,
If
watch
you
out now. Here we go.
if you could
Get out your pen and paper. You're going to learn today. Code switch.
if
Talk
you
on
can
it.
be able to do that, I mean,
Hmm.
because 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna be just speaking to you all the time. You're gonna speak to somebody else
Hmm.
sometimes,
And
and
that code switch, now that is and I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds, but you're running way up the high level of Bloom taxonomy of learning and teaching. You code switching, brother. The code switch. And I'm going to say this as I look into the camera out there, our viewing audience here on Shannock Hill Public Media, Loud Media, Ambidextrious. The code switch part. And you are, as a matter of fact, you are validating some of my hallucinations and insanity over the years in education. One of the things that I saw that frustrated young people in general was to not to know how to speak across the various
right,
social, cultural groups, and some segments of those groupings are sort of in a box.
right.
It sounds like you broke the code. Sounds like and got out. So maybe a little bit more than code speak,
And
code switch. I'm sorry,
and
when that's part of code speak switch is code speaking. Go ahead.
so and the thing is, so I don't want to. I don't want this to be misunderstood. Code switching isn't about race either,
Come on.
because you got people that's in different sectors that looks like you, but
Maybe socioeconomic or
so
something.
indeed.
Mm.
So sometimes you have to come up to their level because they can't necessarily come down.
Mm. Mm.
But
Come on, brother.
but by you being able to, that's just another tool. If you have that tool in your life toolbox, you could use it, and you could speak to everyone.
Hmm. And that sounds like, for you, I'm gonna guess that sounds like that's been an enormous, powerful item commodity for you to have. So,
So it has been.
what has that done for your life?
So even after doing 13 years in prison,
13 years. That's amazing when you
I
say
was
that.
able to come home.
Mm.
I was I've been a barber instructor in Charlotte. I taught adults how to cut hair, not just about cutting hair. I taught them from the theory book, and so I had to teach the theory, color, uh,
Texture.
texture, and uh, all the chemical procedures and how to, uh, you know, diagnose certain scalp dysfunctions or ailments. I was able to own a barbershop for 10 years.
Mm.
So it's certain ways it has been a benefit in my
Mm.
life.
Mm. Mm. Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. Uh, well, and I just thank you once so much. I don't have any doubt. The number of people, regardless, are going to find this your expose here today invaluable uh, for however they might want to proceed in their lives with whomever they might want to proceed in this life. I want to do a little piece here in wrapping this up. I call future pace. I want you to, if you're willing to, if it's not out of line, I want today's you talk to that. What would you tell that 10, 11-year-old you today?
Oh,
What message would you have for that person?
oh man! First and foremost, I would go back to the don't make it a decision to be smart or cool.
Hmm.
Be both,
Hmm.
because that'll get you furthest. You- Uh, um, some of the rules and that's in place by your parents, believe me, is for a reason.
Hmm.
Uh,
Don't discount them.
because they could actually shorten your learning curve.
Hmm. Hmm. Learning curve.
You just gotta be able to receive it and uh, and continue to con- just continue to chase your dreams and never lose your imagination.
Wow. Okay. 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 All right. And I think you mentioned, not to dive too deep in the weeds, and now I'm going to preface and ask you a response to a scenario that might have unfolded, been a part of your life.
Hmm.
If I'm correct, you did not get you didn't have a diploma conferred in the public school setting. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I guess that was interrupted by some other events that might have transpired.
Yes.
And at that point, you still hadn't developed and evolved your entire verbal repertoire.
Right.
I want you to now talk to that system,
Hmm.
not to point fingers. What is it they missed about you? What is it they could have done to accentuate and enhance? Uh-oh. Yep. Just as
That's
long as it ain't rated X.
no, no, no. I know because that's so touchy because I look at my 10-year-old son and I
Mm-hmm.
think about just the things he goes through and I see him going through it just dealing with the systems now, the educational system,
Hmm.
quote unquote.
Uh-huh.
And I think sometimes the outer appearance or the shell uh, is judged. Um, no matter how bright you are, sometimes it's still never enough to be groomed.
Hmm.
So I think sometimes we're missed or we're overlooked
Hmm.
because the teaching style or
Hmm.
the mis
Calculation, calibration. I'm going to help you out there,
right
try to help you out there a little
right
bit as we wind our way to the end here through this maze,
right
how to navigate and all that sort of
right.
stuff. And that's a very poignant and elegant point. And you, as a parent, have the right,
Hmm. So
the
I
duty,
don't.
responsibility to point that out. Go ahead on.
So just I think just extend your styles of teaching,
Hmm.
not to go one way, because it's many paths and many learning styles, and a genius could be lost
Hmm.
and pushed to the wayside
Hmm.
because of not being attentive.
I thank you so much, and for sharing that riveting testimonial of you and your life and the challenges, barriers, obstacles, triumphs, treasures, and tests that you undergone. Uh, And I thank you so much for this time and opportunity to be with us, and we're going to invite you back. And as you close, take a look at the camera there and hold up your art there. And
That's it.
because this is public access and non-commercial, I can say if someone wants to reach out to you, I'm going to offer them to email Shanakil Public Media, Laos Media Group at wcstv22@gmail.com. That's WCSTV22, the number 2222 @gmail.com. If they would like to reach out to you, uh, given your permission, they can reach out to us through us here at Chanticleer Public Media, Laos Media Group. We thank you so much, and we're going to welcome you back at any time that's convenient for you. We're fortunate to have had you here, and I'm certain that those who view and listen to this will find your messaging and your message inspiring. Anytime, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, doctor. Bless you.
That's for you. That's for you. That's for you.